So today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite topics, and it's being child free. I know that a lot of people are having a lot of productive conversations around being child free. Um, and there's also some misleading information out there about like women being bitter. I don't know if being bitter has to do with not wanting children. If you don't want children, you just don't want them. But today specifically, I wanted to talk about the impact that having a child can have on your mental health, whether you're diagnosed or undiagnosed. I myself am on a mental health journey, and I have my own mental health challenges. And, that's one of the many reasons why I don't want to have children. Not only do I not want to pass this on to my children, I just can't imagine having the mental capacity or mental clarity to be able to maintain good mental health and also make sure my children are good and make sure that I'm not damaging their mental health and I'm not traumatizing them. And there's so many different mental health diagnoses, and one of them that just came to mind is OCD. Okay, I have OCD very badly, and I think that these are things that people should think about, especially if you're diagnosed already, or if you suspect you have a mental health disorder or condition. So yeah, OCD. If you have children, you can't like make your children be super clean and be quiet. And it's just like, I just imagine, when I imagine children or myself having children, I just imagine like there being items and things all over the floor, doors being left open, like my door's cracked right now, but that's one of my things. I don't like when doors are cracked open. I'm pretty sure if I had children, they would be leaving the doors open. There would be stuff all over the couch, crumbs, stickiness, just germs because they're coming back from school. Like that would send me in a frenzy. And this is not something you have control over. You have to let children be children. You can't, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you're child free. I have a lot more control over my home and what I choose to be exposed to. But when you have children, you can't control that. And I can't imagine having that. I can't find the word, but just not being able to, dictate how things are going in my household, how clean they are, how quiet it is. My next thing is noise sensitivity. I have a serious noise sensitivity, and it gets to a point where there is actually a name for it. I probably should have written it down in my notes, but I don't know why I get super, super agitated and angry when I hear certain sounds. I know that children, when they eat, they like to smack, and sometimes they have these tics where they're just like, and they're just making all these weird noises all the time, and that drives me insane. I have been around children that smack on their food, make these weird noises with their mouth, and do the same thing over and over and over and over, and it's just like I feel the the anger and the annoyance building up in me, and it's like, one, I'm gonna either have to excuse myself, or two, I would literally have to have headphones on 24/7 around my children. This would be me as a mother, and it's just like, that's not fair to a child, having to kind of, you're there, but you're not fully there with them. Imagine a child growing up saying, yeah, my mom always wore earplugs around us. It almost makes you just feel kind of detached from your children. Again, you don't want to do that to them. And I don't want to do that to myself. I don't want to, again, expose myself to a bunch of triggers, a bunch of things that are going to just drive me nuts and just put my mental health in a bad place. If you know that you have mental health disorders or challenges. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just saying these are things to consider. And when I think about these things, it's a deal breaker for me. The things that I just mentioned, I can't deal with. And I think that, if there's a young lady or a young man or what, it doesn't matter what your age is, and you're on the fence about having children, and you have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder, or you suspect that you may have a mental health disorder, or that you're just very particular and you can easily get triggered by noises and stomping and screaming. And it's just like, if you know that about yourself, just ask yourself, are you willing to make the sacrifice of exposing yourself to these things pretty much for the remainder of your life? I mean, we can say, whenever your children move out, but you don't even know when that would be. So yeah, these are things that I personally have gone over with myself, and it made me realize that there's no way in hell I would be able to deal with that. And OCD shows up in many forms. It's also a lot of worrying. Again, if my children are not here in front of me or in the household with me, I don't think I would be able to rest and relax. I would obsessively be thinking about if they're safe. I would be calling them, texting them, and if I'm not calling them and texting them, I'm probably sitting up about to have a breakdown because I just can't relax. I can't just know that my kids are fine with whoever they're with, or with the other parent if it's not a 2-parent household. And again, that's not something I want to put myself through. Like, if you know that you have sensitive mental health, seriously sit down with yourself and ask, am I going to be able to be a good parent and be okay, and also not traumatize my children if I decide to bring children into this world? And I don't hear a lot of people bring this up. I've never seen a video or heard a conversation about people deciding not to have children due to their mental health. And if anything, I feel like that should be the number one reason, other than, financial reasons. And I have a few notes because I want to make sure I don't get off topic. Just checking my key points. But yeah, I think that there are some people out here that have always had very stable mental health. Maybe it's a little shaky when they've gone through things in life, but overall, hey, they're not really triggered by much. Like, sticky hands don't bother them. A kid sitting right here, all in their bubble, in their personal space, overstimulating them might not, drive them as crazy as it would myself or somebody that has very sensitive mental health. So it's just so many things to consider. It's the lack of, you won't really be able to have many boundaries. And like I said, children like to be up under you, and you just can't take a breather. You can't go in your room and say, hey, I don't want to be bothered. I'm going to go take me a 3-hour nap. I mean, if they're teenagers, maybe, but you can't plan you being a parent around, oh, well, yeah, when they're teenagers, okay, that's like 13 years out. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I want people that are on the fence to watch this video and, maybe write down a few things that would probably trigger or, really send them into a frenzy if they have to be exposed to it constantly and consistently if they decided to be a parent. And nothing about this is negative. I often read the regretful parents thread on Reddit, and I feel so sorry for not only the children but the parents that can't take their decision back, the decision that they made to bring life into this world. And I've seen several parents on there. I want to be careful. I don't want to trigger anybody, but they're very on edge all the time. Their mental health isn't good. They don't have anybody to help them. Their baby's always screaming and crying. Also, you can't plan whether your child is born with a disorder or health issues or anything like that. And imagine you having sensitive mental health, and now you're having to adjust to a child with autism, or your child has OCD themselves, and then you have to be very specific with the way that you do things for your child, and then you have your own things that you're very obsessive about. And these are all the things that a lot of those parents on Reddit, mentioned. They're like, hey, I didn't even think about this. I didn't consider this. So that's why I want to put these videos out. I'm actually going to make it a series because I want people to come across my video and maybe chime in if you're already a parent and you do struggle with mental health. I want to know, what are the things that you wish that you would have thought about or considered? Because I want people that haven't had children yet to consider those things before they make that decision. Even if you're a teenager, like, I want teenagers to watch these videos so that they're more careful. But yeah, so today's topic, I just wanted to make sure I cover, the sensitivities around mental health and having children. But yes, I'm very happy to be child-free. You hear how quiet it is in my home. I have full control over my home. It's always clean, and if it's a little bit junky, it's junky to my comfortability. So, like, I don't know, you'll see little stuff in the background, but that's what I'm comfortable with. Now, if you have children, it's gonna be much worse, and that's not something I can deal with. I just can't. And yeah, so I want to start creating more healthy thoughts or considerations around deciding to be child-free or not. But yeah, I would like to hear from pretty much anybody. I don't really care what your gender or your age is. I don't care if you're child-free, you're on the fence, or you're already a parent. Again, I would love for you to chime in the comments. And I'm going to continue to make more of these videos and put things out there that some people may not be thinking about before they decide to have children. And I just hope that they come across my video so they're not on Reddit regretting having children. And that's just very sad to me. But yeah, so if you made it to the end of today's video, I would love for you to put a blue heart in the comments. And yeah, I really enjoy making these videos, so thank you for supporting me.